All right, now we're joined by Sac State women's soccer coach Randy Dedini. Randy, thanks for joining the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We just had Isabella Vincent-Haler on. We
Yeah.
talked about the leadership that she brings to this team and some of the
Yeah.
captains on the team. Tell me about
Yeah.
them and how important they are, especially winning something like this.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Vinny's been a great leader for us. She's kind of that vocal leader for the team, and she's also got that kind of that I guess that mom feel, in that
Okay.
they feel like they can go to her, they can trust her, they can get the straight answer from Vinny, and so she's been a tremendous leader for us. She's kind of that voice on the field for us as well when we're on the field. And she's playing on the back line. She's a great communicator, and she helps everybody in front of her kind of play better because they are hearing information from behind them.
So let's talk about your career a little bit.
Okay.
Obviously, you've been here for this is your 19th year?
19th year as a head coach, and I was
Okay.
here for 2 years as an assistant, and I started here for the first year as a goalkeeper coach.
Nice. So you played professionally too, right? And you played
Yeah.
goalie.
Yeah.
What was that? Where'd you go to college? Sonoma,
I went
right?
to Sonoma State,
Okay.
and yeah, I was an All-American there before going and playing in Chico for the Chico Rooks when they were still around. And then from there, I went to Nashville, Tennessee for a couple of years. They dropped down a league, and so I went from Nashville to Pittsburgh
Yeah.
and played in Pittsburgh for 5 years. And what a great experience those, Nashville and Pittsburgh was just a great experience, and a lot of fun for me to end my career there.
Yeah, well, and soccer has changed a lot in America. I mean, I'm
Sure
kind of
has.
curious what your thoughts are too, especially like I think college soccer, even in the 19 years,
Yeah,
it's changed pretty significantly. Like,
yeah.
what's the differences from back then to now?
Oh, wow. So many more opportunities, I think. Because when I was a junior in college, all I could think about was how do I get to the pros? How do I get to the
Yeah.
pros? And there was a combine. The next year was the first MLS combine. I believe it was in 2000. Oh, I forget what year it was. But yeah. So I went to the very first combine in San Jose, and
Okay.
thought I did pretty well. But I didn't get picked up, and so I played in the A League for 7 years, and had a great career there, and I had a several cups of coffee with the MLS teams, and I was that trusted goalkeeper that when somebody went down, MLS
Yeah.
teams would call me to come on loan, and so I
Oh,
had
nice.
several chances to play, with MLS teams and train with them, and so yeah, great career. Wouldn't take anything back.
Yeah, and how does that help you now when you're coaching players that are trying to maybe go play on a professional team? And you obviously
Yeah,
have that perspective and can show them too. Like sometimes you're not gonna make it to NWSL or whatever day
right,
one.
right. No, I think it's important. I think I can share some things that I went through because coming from Vacaville, California, I
Yeah.
didn't necessarily have the support system to help me go to the pros. So a lot of it I had kind of had to learn and do myself. Um, and so I can share some of that with them, what I had to do. And really, the first thing that I said I was going to do is I was going to work harder than everybody else. I was
Yeah.
going to show up early. I was going to stay late, and nobody was going to work harder than me. Um, and I think that was kind of the basis for me continuing to improve, um, because I always felt like I had to do more because I was kind of behind.
Yeah.
And so, I was going to work harder than everybody else on and off the field and continue to kind of build and work my craft in the goal.
And do you think that's why you were able to have that success?
Absolutely. That, and I was given some God-given, some athletic gifts as
Yeah.
well.
Some height.
Some height, some good hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mentality. I always felt like my mentality as a player was really strong. Maybe to a fault. I was just
Mm.
super confident in myself.
Yeah.
Um, and I always had that mindset that if you don't get scored on, you can't lose. And so that was always something I said to myself before games: is don't give up a goal, and you cannot lose. You can
Yeah.
the worst you could do is tie a game. Um, so I always felt like I had a strong mentality, really strong work ethic, and I felt like I was a good team player as well because I understood that if I can make the players around me better, it was going to help me
Mm.
give up less goals. And so I always felt like I wanted to be a good communicator, and and all of those things that I learned as a player, I can share those to our players now. whether they want to play pro or not. Like,
Yeah.
how do we get the most out of our players in the 4 years that we have with them?
I mean, I always joke that the goalie is the most important position on the field, but really, you're seeing everything, and
Yeah.
you can kind of like, I mean, even as a coach, you're off to the side. It's like
Yeah,
you're seeing how you can move the pieces around, and I think
absolutely.
you've had a lot of goalies that have been able to do that. Obviously, Danielle now on the coaching staff,
Hmm.
Izzy Palmatier,
Hmm.
um, knowing that how that position goes. How have you been able to translate that to your players?
100%. You know, we've had some good goalkeeper coaches here. Didi's doing a fantastic job
Yeah.
with the goalkeepers, but our whole staff is goalkeepers. I'm a goalkeeper.
Oh,
And
really?
Chris Melanab was a goalkeeper, and Didi was a goalkeeper. So we have a lot of perspective for the goalkeepers, and yeah, in the role that they have, and such an important role too, because
Yeah.
they're the voice back there. They see everything. They can communicate things. And I always felt in the goal that you can eliminate shots before they happen if you
Mm.
can communicate to
Yeah.
the team in front of you and help get them organized, make sure that there's, your backside is covered. And so, yeah, absolutely. I feel like my being a goalkeeper has really helped me be a coach, because top goalkeepers kind of have to know the roles and responsibility of all the positions so that you can
Yeah.
communicate with them. And so it was maybe a little bit easier transition for me, going from a player to coach,
Yeah.
because I had been coaching the players in front of me for so many years.
I totally agree. Did you have any coaches growing up that made a significant impact, or just did it change a lot,
Yeah,
or?
I mean, my coach at Sonoma State, I thought was a huge impact for me. Marcus Zemer,
Mm.
he's been there for a long time. I think he's one of, if not the winningest coach in Division Two,
Mm.
in the history of Division Two soccer. So he was really impactful because, he just he let me know the things that I needed to do to be the best that I could be. That work ethic, not just working hard, but working specifically on the things that I needed to improve on. Which when I was in college, it was, I needed better footwork. And so I spent a lot of time improving the footwork, being able to take back passes and do something good with it, whether I was playing out or knocking a big ball. But but yeah, I thought he was hugely, he was a huge for me, in my development. Connie Constant
Mm.
is also a club coach that I had, who just, really gave me the passion.
Mm.
And I think I always had the passion, but he really made it fun for me.
Yeah.
And coaches that make it fun for players, it just helps develop their passion for the game and their want to be better. So I thought those two coaches, specifically were really important for me and, in my development.
That's kind of interesting too. You mentioned footwork, which I think
Hmm.
has only more recently become a key thing for a
Yeah,
goalie,
yeah,
but that's something that's maybe changed over the years.
it has, because I was 16 years old when they changed the back pass,
Mm.
the back pass rule, where you can, play it out to your defender. If the defender had any pressure, they can give it back to you and you can pick it up.
Mm.
So when that rule changed, um, which I thought was a great change,
Yeah.
it forced goalkeepers to be better with their feet and to develop their footwork, a little bit more. So I was 16. I had played goalkeeper from the time I was 8 years old, and so,
Yeah.
those were some skills that I really hadn't developed, other than being able to play a good long ball. I could always smash a ball, but being able to play out, being able to make good decisions with my feet, was something I really had to develop over the last 10, 12 years of my career.
Yeah. Interesting. I have a question too. Did Jenny Lawrence
Hmm.
play for you?
Yes.
She actually coached me
Oh,
when I
okay.
was, yeah, when I was younger, like when I was like 8 or 9, like that,
Oh, wow.
right when I had started playing soccer.
Yes.
And I think she must have been like right out of college.
She was
And
one of my first recruits.
really,
Yeah, one of my first recruits, and I just loved the way she played. I remember I was an assistant coach here, and, Katie Pointer, who was the head coach at
mm-hmm.
the time, was like, "Randy, we really need a goalkeeper bad,
Mm.
and we needed to find one fast." And so she sent me out to some tournaments, and I saw Jenny, and it was in a time where a lot of the top goalkeepers were already taken.
Yeah,
But Jenny was a smaller goalkeeper
yeah,
that, was really athletic, and so I saw how athletic she was, but I also saw that she had really safe hands, which to me, like, as a goalkeeper, you got to save the shots that you're supposed to save,
yeah,
and then if you can pull some bigger ones out, that's like extra, but you got to be able to make the saves that you're supposed to make. And Jenny always made the saves that she was supposed to make. There was nothing that was ever really a mystery with her. She was a shorter goalkeeper, so there was some things that she couldn't get to,
Yeah,
but she did a lot of the good. She did a lot of the simple things right, and also a good communicator in the back, and
totally.
a super confident player too.
Yeah, no, I had thought of that connection
Yeah,
while you were talking. I was like, I'm pretty sure she played here.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny. So with you with coaching, I know you coached a lot of youth soccer too.
hmm
Um, but you've, like I said, coached here for a long time. I'm sure you've had opportunities to maybe coach professionally. Why do you like coaching college soccer, and what's that experience been like?
Soccer's always been my passion. From the time I think I was about 7 or 8 years old, I wanted to be a professional soccer player. And
Yeah.
so all I could think about was, how do I become a professional soccer player? How can I be the best player possible? Um, and that was my life goal, was to be a professional soccer player and be the best player I could be. And as I was going to school, I'm like, wow, can I make a career out of this?
Mm.
Because I can't play forever. Can I make a career out of soccer? Because I love it so much. And so I went into kinesiology thinking, I can, you know, um, learn how to not only better prepare myself, but help prepare other players to be the best that they can be, through the study of human movement. Um, but also with the long-term goal that I was going to teach high school and coach high
Mm.
school soccer and have my summers off so I can travel.
Yeah.
But as I continued to play professionally, I started working with Sonoma State as their goalkeeper
Mm.
coach. And then when I was in Pittsburgh, I was working with Duquesne University as their goalkeeper coach and assistant. Um, and then I had a great mentor also in Gene Klein, who has passed away from, he passed away a couple years ago, but a really influential coach as well. I was coaching high school with him, but he really taught me a lot about how to develop a team, not
Mm.
just players, but how to develop a team, and what players fit certain, uh, what skill sets that players needed to fit into certain positions and be successful. And so I thought Gene was also another very influential coach for me. Um, you know, but yeah, having coached over the years as an assistant in colleges, while I was playing professionally, really showed me that there might be a path here for
Mm.
me, after I'm done playing. And so when I was done playing, I came back to Sacramento and was really just kind of looking for an opportunity to get a job, teaching. And then
Yeah.
somebody gave me a call and was like, "Hey, Sacramento's looking for a goalkeeper coach. Would you be interested?" And I was like, "Absolutely. I'd love to get my foot in the door over there." And so came in here. I was a goalkeeper coach the first year, and then the very next year, Katie hired me as her head assistant. And then 2 years after that, she had an opportunity, and so I was the interim head coach
Mm.
for my first year, and then we won a championship that year.
Of course.
And so everything else kind of um, took its course after that.
Yeah. Before I want to talk about the team a little bit this
Yeah,
season, but I want
yeah.
to go back really quick to 2024,
hmm
winning the conference. Obviously, you guys go into that not being like the top seeded team. Not,
Right,
I don't think people expected you to go and just win the whole thing.
right,
Especially you go to penalties, you win, go
right,
to penalties again. It's like,
right.
what's this team
Yeah.
doing? Um, what was that process first? And then I'm also curious about the decision with the goalies. We talked about
hmm
shorter goalies,
hmm
penalties. Obviously, the height makes a difference.
Right.
Is that a decision that you make before the game? Like, listen, we're going to switch the goalies out, or how does that go?
Yeah, we so that decision with the goalkeepers, was not a decision that we made, spur of the moment. It was a decision that we made probably a week or two before the playoffs started,
Mm.
because we started practicing our shootouts a lot.
Yeah.
We started practicing the whole walk up from the midline, and
Wow.
just everything that they would feel, in the games, other than the big pressure, from the fans and everything, and the game itself. So we had them walking out doing the whole, shootouts, and I don't know, we probably ran through 6 or 8,
Really?
um, shootout situations, and it was almost every time that Sierra was making 2 to 3 saves out of our 5 shooters. It was like
Wow.
almost every time. And Chris and I looked at each other. It was like, wow, if we go into shootouts, like we might have to make this decision.
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And then, and that situation came, and it was like, you know what? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's put Sierra in there because she's been consistently making the saves in practice, and that just played out, great. I think she made at least 2 saves in every shootout that we
Yeah.
had,
Yeah.
which, if you can make 2 saves in a shootout, you expect to win. And so that's kind of how that process went. And so if it comes again, we'll see what we have to do. But
Hmm.
we haven't really started training for the shootouts yet, so
Right.
we have to see how that goes. Now with Izzy, Sierra, and Cynthia
Hmm.
in the mix, and so but it was just kind of, it felt right at the moment, from what we were seeing in trainings, and then making that call, and we felt like, okay, this is a big call because it could go really bad because Izzy's been playing spectacular
Yeah.
for us, or it could go great like it had been in practice. And so everything kind of played out like it was in practice, where she
Yeah.
made a couple of big saves, and our shooters did a great job burying their chances.
And that's interesting too, because a lot of coaches don't even want to practice shootout because they're like, oh, we're going to jinx it and we're going to go to
Hmm.
penalties,
Hmm.
which maybe you did.
Hmm.
No, I'm kidding. But no, but it clearly paid off doing
Yeah,
that 6 or 8 times.
yeah, I thought it paid off, and uh, yeah, and sometimes shooters can get in their head, if our goalkeepers already know where they're going, and then
Yeah.
they're guessing the way that they're going, it could potentially get in their heads. But I thought our mentality last year was one of the keys to our
Mm.
success. We were a pretty good team, like you said. We weren't the top team in the conference, but our mentality was that we were going to win, and I felt like. Uh, we went into games feeling that confidence. Like we didn't go into any game feeling that we were the underdog. We
Mm.
felt like we have a chance here, and let's make the best of our opportunities. And um, although we didn't win, we didn't lose, and we went into shootouts. And when we went into shootouts, we knew we had a good chance,
Yeah.
based on everything that we were seeing in practice.
Yeah. And his mentality, it seems to me like as a spectator, it seems kind of like a centerpiece of your philosophy. And you tell me, but I think even this year, I mean, you started out beat Oregon like crazy,
Yeah,
but then you have some tough games and you lose,
yeah,
but then you're able to turn around and you played San Jose State. That was a
yes,
great game, and it
yes.
seems like your players don't get frustrated.
Yeah, we try not to. I mean, if there's anything, there's a lot of things that I hope that I can pass on to my players, but that mental toughness was something that I felt like as a player was so important.
Yeah,
Especially coming from the goalkeeper, you want your goalkeeper to be the pillar of strength in the
right.
back and confidence, and so certainly I try to pass that on to my players. And but mentality, we talk about it. We talk about the mental preparation before games needs to start 2 to 3 days before the game, so that when you're in the game, you're just mentally locked in and you're ready, and you've already seen situations in your head over and over through mental rehearsal and visualization. And so we talk about all that stuff, and so I hope it you know ends up being that our team is mentally stronger because of those things. Um, but it certainly is. I felt like last year it was a culmination of the players that we had, the experience that we had, um, and it just kind of all came together for us
Yeah.
this last year. And so starting this year, I think last year gave us a tremendous amount of confidence that we're a championship team, and now
Hmm.
teams, we have that target on our back, and that's a good thing,
Yeah.
and so now we have to play with that target on our back, and we have to raise our level. And so I thought the beginning of this year started out really good, and then we hit some injuries, to some important players that like you said, we lost a couple of games, and then since then we've rebounded because we've had to figure out how to move forward without some of those top players that we've lost.
Yeah.
And our freshmen have really stepped up. We've got
Hmm.
3 freshmen starting right now that we were not planning on really being such a playing so many minutes for us. We were hoping that they would give some of our experienced players some rests and gain some experience that way, but they've really had to step into a bigger role, and they've done a tremendous job. It's taken them a few games to really get comfortable, but the experience that they've gained in the non-conference portion
Mm.
is really going to help us going into conference. In that, they're not going to feel like true freshmen because they've had so many minutes under their belt now.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that's kind of a nice part about the way that the college soccer schedule works. Like you're not even in conference play, and but you're now feeling that like you're ready to go,
Yes,
right?
yes, we're feeling more and more ready to go with the players that we have. Having kind of rebounded from the losses that we've gained. I mean, we've lost several starters and big time starters for us. But our freshmen have really stepped up big, and players that maybe weren't playing as much have also stepped up. And so we felt like coming into the season, the one of the strengths of our team was the depth that we had,
Mm-hmm.
and now that depth is really being tested, and our girls are really responding to it. And so, hopefully we can just keep it going and keep getting better and better every game. And I felt like we have been. There's that little lull in the middle of the
Yeah.
season where we hit some injuries and we kind of had to figure things out. We changed our formation as well, because with the players that we lost, it just didn't make sense for us to stay in that
Right.
formation. And so that also has helped secure things for us and just playing a formation that's better for the players that we have.
Yeah. Cool. Coach Randy Dedini, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.